you check the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the horror show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Susie von Slaughter.
That's right. She's made a return, even in and amongst these weird-ass quarantine times. This is 6 feet. This is an optical illusion. We're actually 6 feet from each other, so don't worry about anything. I'll kill you. All right. So, guys, what we're here to do is continue our review. Actually, we're going to be recording 3 of these today, so ideally we'll finish our review. But this episode, we're continuing our review of the Elvira comic series. This is a comic series. We started with Volume 1 after the first 4 issues came out, and then the rest of the series has come out, as well as one other series. So we're now catching up on them all, starting with...
Sorry.
It's okay. Starting with the spring break spring special from last year, and then numbers 5 through 8. So we are going to be talking about all of those. We're going to start off with the spring special, which, if I'm not mistaken, Susie, neither one of us were terribly big fans of.
I love Elvira, but this was a bit lackluster for me.
It also,
as far as like the story, and it was. I felt it was a bit cheesy.
Great cover.
Yes, the cover looks amazing, but it's nothing about what's inside.
No, it's really not. And the artwork is dramatically different too. Like I'll show you. So that's the artwork for the cover, and then you flip to the very first page, and it is like it's like Elvira the animated series, kind of.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Look at that. Yeah. So just to give proper accreditation for this issue,
But we still look good.
we got story and art listed there, as well as all the other credits for the stories. So by all means, take a look there, just so we're giving proper accreditation. But yeah, this story starts off pretty simply. It's Elvira and a sleazy director, and she basically decides to quit her TV job to go to Hollywood, meets this kind of sleazy director that is called George Rotmero. Exactly.
Yeah.
And,
I was like, wah, wah.
And so he immediately casts her because of her flotation devices, so to
It's
speak.
because of her assets.
She even says right there that she can't go underwater because of her flotation devices. But it's funny. The first thing she does is go on this Creature of the Black Lagoon from the Black Lagoon parody, and he becomes obsessed with her and starts tracking her down. And it turns out that she finds out that George Rotmero has actually been releasing actual zombies on all of his productions.
Yeah, like that's how he gets all his cast members and stuff as zombies, because they're actual fucking zombies in a graveyard in the back of the studio or some shit. How convenient.
The next part is Halloween, where it's just Elvira on Halloween night dealing with a family, and this one was just so underwhelming to me that I don't even...
Like, I think it's cute.
I mean, there's a little bit of Michael Myers stuff right here, but
it's almost the story for kids.
Yeah.
You
it's
know,
like my first Elvira.
My first... Yes! Oh my god, someone make this happen. I have children.
And actually, well, no, sorry, that was all part of the same thing, but the last book, or the last story here, is actually a hot rod story. Sorry, I don't mean to keep blocking your face, Susie, but it's Elvira versus the devil in a race. And while it sounds like a really cool idea for a story, it never even really ends up happening. And the way that it does is so underwhelming, and you can see again the artwork is different. It's just not that impressive, and I don't know, just wasn't a really great book, in my opinion.
How you said it, my first Elvira, that's totally what that comic is. It's very campy, not as... I mean, obviously Elvira is still sexualized, but not as much as these comics.
Yeah.
So
these, she's constantly joking about it, and not only that, but I mean, look at the cover here, the kind of a suggestive cover
so
there with the dripping snake on the assets, so to speak. But this one is back to the creative team from the first 4 that we did. So it's written by David Avallone, and the artist is Dave Acosta with the colorist Ellie Wright.
Hey, Dave.
So yeah, this picks up right where the last one left off. The last one left off, Elvira gets, she arrives in hell with Faust, and we find out that he is married to someone. Who, Susie?
Helen of Troy.
Yeah, and so they have a house on, in hell, right here on a hellscape, and they live together in this little domestic situation, and Elvira refuses to believe that she belongs in hell, but look at this artwork compared to the other one. It's really cool and refined and bold, and I really dig this kind of art style for the Elvira book, so I think it works really well. So what ends up happening is Elvira says, I need to get out of here. How do I get out of here? And they're like,
I don't belong here. I didn't die. Because he traveled because he was grabbed by someone, and then she was grabbed, and so she's like, I don't fucking belong here. I'm not dead, and blah blah blah.
Exactly. And so he says the only way you can get out is you got to go talk to the boss, essentially. So she has to trek to find Satan himself, and she is first assisted by Mephistopheles, whom she calls Mr. Stopheles, which I thought was actually kind of funny. But it ends up being kind of cool. So it's Elvira's Inferno. That's what it is. Instead of Dante's Inferno, it's the Elvira. It's Elvira's version of the story. That's kind of what we've been finding with these books. One of the ones we're going to talk about is basically the Shape of Water, except with Elvira injected into the story.
That's right.
So we're gonna get to that, but and she meets characters along the way. This first issue was a little bit light on the jokiness compared to the other ones, so I don't have any specifically written down, but as you can see, it's a no BS story. She has to cross the river Styx here, which is a trope that is in a lot of different sort of horror movies or
to get
dramas,
to hell
stuff
and
like that.
Yeah.
The one that always comes to my mind is What Dreams May Come, for some reason. That Robin Williams one.
Oh.
It's a really good one. It's sad, but it's so good, though.
Oh, why did you bring it up?
So that's this issue. She is continuing on to go through hell in order to get her way out of it. And the next stop, what's funny is all the places along the way that she ends up stopping, and you kind of don't think about being in hell. This is a really cool cover too, by the way.
Hell yeah.
They always know to emphasize the right things on these covers, I tell you what. So basically she is, I don't know why I keep saying basically, but she's continuing on her way home, trying to avoid the pits of hell along the way, and she ends up coming across different hellscapes, but first she comes across a sort of red tape demon, a accounting
I thought
demon.
that was actually really funny.
And I think he ends up being kind of her guide, right? Yeah, so I forgot what his name is. I have it written down here. Glenn, yeah.
Yeah, Glenn.
So Glenn the accounting demon ends up being willing to guide her sort of along the way. And she ends up running into a lot of things that people have, including Cerberus, the three-headed dog. And she handles it in all of the best Elvira ways.
Yes.
Is this Glenn here? Maybe this is Glenn.
No. Yes, that's
This is
Glenn.
Glenn. Okay,
yes.
sorry.
And if you know who Glenn is...
Glenn is the Varys, if you watched Game of Thrones. So it's been a while since I've read this, so I mistook who Glenn
This
was.
Glenn.
Is very sassy.
This Glenn is the best Glenn
But
ever.
what's funny about it is while they're in hell, they just happen across this guy here who just rolls by. It happens to be Sisyphus, who has rolled his boulder up the hill, but now it's rolling him back down.
and
So
he has
that
to roll
old
it back
story.
up, yeah.
Yep, exactly. And so they continue on, and Glenn is trying to show Elvira through hell. Meanwhile, they're just running across random things like Hell's Mall with the security guards.
Oh, and it's so funny when they're talking about how they get so stupid, and he's like, there's no one down here. You got that inbreeding of angels and demons or something like that, and so that's why they're so stupid.
So they actually try and explain a lot of that stuff, and then of course at the very end they run across the giant Minotaur. So that's the end of issue number 6, continuing into 7 and 8.
Let me just tell you, even without the makeup in that comic, I knew who that was.
Really?
And yes. Oh my god, I was so excited.
I don't know if it's this issue or if it's I think it's issue 8 that, Oh no, that's later. You mean? Are you
Yeah.
talking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the Minotaur takes them. Here's what Elvira has to say, and shows them that he presides over a particular portion of hell, which is hell's traffic
That
jam.
was so fucking great.
I thought that made so much sense. He's like, what do you
Yes.
think hell would be down here?
And the
being stuck in your car
Fucking
for hours on
trolls.
end.
Yes, and the fucking trolls, the one with the opinions, the fucking.
Yeah, that's right. And you're stuck listening to people berate you in any way that a troll online would do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a new version of hell that we don't often see depicted. So and then of course there's some Mad Max-esque kind of road warrior motorcycle guys that try and take them down because they don't, they're not supposed to be just cruising through hell like this. But it's just them continuing on the story path, and here's where you get to another portion. This is cubicle hell is what I called it. So they end up going through that red tape sort of area where everyone's in their business suits, and I can't remember. Oh, this is the Island of Lost Temps. That's what this is.
That's so funny and terrible at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So David Avalon continues with the funny humor throughout this thing, and I'm going to try not to show you everything, but there's a floor is lava sort of situation, and then you end up seeing a griffin that's called in, and the way they sort of get the griffin's help is pretty funny. They end up trading him cigarettes, so it's pretty darn funny.
It's like prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like prison.
Makes sense. So that brings us to issue number 8, and I know this is just a recap. We're going to do more of the review towards the end here, but this final issue that takes place in hell, Elvira has made it, and Mephistopheles has taken them to the devil himself, who is just chewing on sinners. That's what he's doing right there, and it's a really funny depiction. And again, it's an actual conversation. It's not like the devil being evil and just immediately attacking and trying to eat them. Elvira presents her side of the story, saying, "Hey, I'm not even supposed to be here," and then
That's what they all say.
yeah, exactly. But they end up finding out. So she gets tired of the big sort of projection, so he takes a more human form, which also ends up being her high school gym coach.
Right, yeah. He takes the form of the thing that scares you the most. And for her, it just so happened to be her high school gym coach.
Exactly. And so he explains something about hell, and she realizes she's not quite as trapped as she thought she was the whole time, and ends up making it out, and full circle all the way back to the very first issue of the series, where she gets pushed in, and it turns out that she was the one that pushed herself in, which we predicted when we first saw that back in the day. But now she's back to her, small TV show life, and she's happy about it. So that's where this volume kind of ends. And again, that's the kind of the recap. But what you gotta do, or the reason you gotta read it, is because I obviously didn't show you everything. And we didn't give you any of the actual dialogue or the jokes or anything like that. It's all still very much worth your time to check out.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
it's definitely worth the experience. It's so great. It's so her. I love it.
So yeah, writing-wise, what did you think overall?
Oh, I thought it was so perfect. It was so her. Like, every situation that she would be in, she handled it just the way that you would imagine that Elvira would. So it was really engaging for me. So it wasn't boring. There's, even if there wasn't a lot going on, I was still in it, and nothing drew me out. So I was very, very happy with it. I'm sad that it's over.
Yeah, not all of it, but we're going to get to the rest. This was sort of, to me, more of a transitional story. Didn't feel like anything really ultimately happened, but it was kind of, this one was more about the journey than what she got out of the journey. Okay,
yeah, but I think that even through the journey, though, it was still good.
Yeah.
It wasn't boring at all. So.
Right, definitely more, not in comparison to the spring special. That was just, you don't need to worry about getting that if you track down any of these issues.
I don't know, okay, but I mean, it's your
worth
first
it on
Elvira.
a level, you think?
I think it is, like you said, my first Elvira. I really think, I didn't think of it that way, and it's true. That's really what it is. Like, you know, if you got kids. And
Now
you
that
like
you shifted your
Elvira.
perspective a little bit, you like
Because
it a
I
little
have
more?
kids,
Yeah.
I have girls, and I don't want things, you know, obviously Elvira, my girl, but I mean, it's fun. It's campy though. You know what I mean? Like it can be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
All right. And how did you like the artwork
in
the series, the actual 5 through 8?
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, through
I love
hell
it.
and-
It's funny actually because I'm friends with Dave Acosta on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So he was actually uploading the uncolored images before he actually colored them.
Oh, nice.
So I actually got to saw like little snippets of like the story of what was going on. So it was like really exciting to see that. And before it was actually inked. So that was cool for me. So
Well, I liked all of his renditions of hell. I mean, it's kind of fun when an artist is able to give their spin on that kind of thing.
Yeah, no,
and
it was perfectly
you know,
great.
the Island of Lost Temps and the traffic jam, you know, so
Okay.
all of that is really
Let me
smart
give you-
and well executed.
Let me give you a
artwork.
perspective into the other things that Dave posts. This man somehow finds license plates that have the weird things, and he posts them all the time. If that gives you any idea of what kind of person like drawing the thing all the time, he finds these license plates and he posts them. Just weird sayings out of the blue, but it's so funny. Like
So
he has a really
random
good sense of
humor.
Random humor, yes.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that. Even in the artwork, you can tell. And I liked how he drew the devil as just this big,
Yeah.
overstuffed dude, kind of bored of chewing on sinners.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of nuance in the artwork, and it's a lot of talent there as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of the artwork too. So all in all, this volume, I think you'll find it as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark Volume 2. If you're getting it in trade form, so I definitely recommend it. And
Absolutely.
we're going to be back to talk about Volume 3 very soon. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe to make sure you don't miss the rest. There's 2 more Elvira comic review episodes coming at you. So thank you very much for supporting them. And until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Susie Von Slaughter.
And remember, stay scared.